Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are doing great. I am Neha Rajvanshi and I welcome you all in today's class, that is English class of class 8. So students, in the previous video we have completed reading with our poem number 6 from the book Honeydew. The name of the poem is When I Set Out for Lyonnesse. So it's a very interesting poem and I very much sure that the poem is clear to you all. And in today's video we will see the comprehension part, we will solve the questions. But first of all we will read the summary of the poem so that one more time we can revise the central idea of the poem. So now let's start the video with the summary of the poem. So let's read. The poem When I Set Out for Lyonnesse, written by Thomas Hardy, presents the poet's experience of his visit to Paris. So this poem that is known as When I Set Out for Lyonnesse, and this poem is written by Mr. Thomas Hardy, and this poem presents the poet's experience of his visit to Paris. So earlier in the poem we have discussed this thing that Paris is a small district and one church was there and the renovation work of that church was going on, and our writer Mr. Thomas Hardy, he just wanted to be one architect and he was getting the training, and this was the reason he went there just to supervise the work. And in this poem we are having his experience of that visit. It was winter season with frost everywhere. So when the poet, when he started his journey, so at that time it was a winter season. And how we can say so? Because everywhere there was a frost. Okay, so everything, all the plants, trees, leaves, everything was covered with the frost. So we can say that yes, it was winter season. The light of the twinkling stars guided the poet on a lonely path. Next thing that we are having in the poem, that the poet was all alone at that time. He was going alone there and it was a night time, it was late evening hours. How we can say so? Because starlight was there and the stars, they were shining, they were twinkling in the sky, and because of the light of the stars, finally the poet was having some guidance. Okay, so we can say that the starlight, it actually guided the poet's path, and the poet, he was going all alone there. When the poet stayed at Lyonnesse for some time, he found something was happening to him. And when finally, when the poet, when he reached this place that is known as Lyonnesse, and we have also discussed this thing in the poem that it is one of the imaginary place. Okay, so when finally he reached there, so at that time, he was there for a short period of time, but he realized that something is happening to him. He realized that some changes are there, some we can say a kind of transformation was there. So the poet, he realized all these changes when he was there at that place, that too for a very short period of time. It was an inner change that no prophet can dare to predict, nor the wisest wizard can guess. And finally the poet realized this thing, that the changes that he was having, they were the inner changes. Inner changes means they were the changes that were in his mind, in his heart. Okay, and no prophet in this world was able to predict the change, and even the wisest wizard was also unable to predict these changes. Okay, so yes, they were very, we can say, inner changes were there, and even the famous we can say prophet or wisest wizard, they were also having no idea, they were also clueless about the changes, because they were also not able to predict the changes. But yes, these changes were there, and these were the inner changes. The poet was unable to understand the feelings that he was going through. So at that time the poet, he was also clueless, he was also having no idea that what feelings are there, what emotions are there, and what feelings he was going through. When the poet returned from Lyonnesse, everyone noticed a change in his eyes. But when finally the poet, when he came back, when he returned from that place that is known as Lyonnesse, then all the people, they also noticed, they also observed these changes, and they also observed this thing, that there is a kind of glow in the eyes of the poet. Okay, so everyone noticed a change in the eyes of the poet. There was a magical glow in his eyes. And what was the change that was there in the eyes of the poet? The change was that now in the eyes of the poet there was a glow, and that glow was very magical. It was very rare. A particular kind of shine was there, a particular kind of glow was there in the eyes of the poet. Everyone tried silently to figure out the reason of this glow. So all the people, they noticed this glow, they observed this glow, but also they were unable to understand the reason. So yes, they were trying to figure out the reason. They were just having their guesses, and yes, they were just silent. They were not discussing, they were not talking, they were not speaking, but yes, they were just silent, and they were just trying to guess the reason for that glow. It was very rare, something unusual and deep glow that the poet was having, and the glow that was there in the eyes of the poet, it was very rare, it was very unusual, and at the same time it was very deep, or we can say it was fathomless glow that was there in the eyes of the poet. Thus, the visit of this place brought a great transformation in the poet. So, we can say that yes, because of this visit, because of this place that is known as Lyonnesse, finally one great transformation was there in the eyes, in the soul, in the body of the poet. Earlier, he was having no hope, no glow, no spark in his life. So, what is the change basically? So, we can say that earlier, or we can say before this visit, the poet was having no hope, the poet was having no glow, or we can say no spark was there in the life of the poet. But after this visit, he was full of flow, full of glow, full of hope. But we have discussed this thing in the poem also, that when he started his journey, at that time he was having some hope, and after this visit, finally the poet was having a new flow, we can say a new glow, a new shine, a new energy. Whatever reason is there, the poet is a changed person now. So no one is having the answer that why this change was there. No one is having the reason for this change. So whatever reason is there, but yes, this is a fact, this is a true fact, that the poet is a changed person now. A poet is a transformed person now, because all the negativity, all the problems, all the difficulties that were there in his life earlier were now completely gone out, and now he is having a new hope, now he is having a new glow that is very rare, that is very unique, that is very deep in fact. Okay, so this is the summary, and I am very much sure that this summary, explanation part, and all the literary devices, everything is clear to you all. And now we will see the comprehension part, we will solve the questions. Question first. In the first stanza, find words that show. So in this question, we have to read the first stanza of the poem, and after reading the first stanza, we have to find some of the words that show these things. So let's see the first one, that it was very cold. So we have to find the word, we have to pick out the word that shows that it was very cold, that shows that it was winter season. The word rhyme shows that it was very cold. So in the first stanza, we are having this word rhyme. Rhyme means frost, and after reading this word, we can say that yes, it was winter season. Yes, it was very cold, because everything, we can say all the trees, plants, leaves, everything was covered with the frost. So yes, it was very cold, it was winter season. Second, we have to pick out the word that show that it was a late evening time. The word starlight shows that it was late evening. So yes, in the first stanza, we have read the word starlight, and this word shows that stars were there in the sky, stars were twinkling, stars were shining. So we can say that yes, it was late evening hours, it was we can say night time. Next, we have to find the word that shows that the traveler was alone. And who is the traveler? The poet himself is the traveler. So we have to pick out the word that shows that the poet was all alone at that time. So we are having the word lonesomeness, okay, in the first stanza, and this word shows that the traveler, or we can say the poet, he was alone. Next question, something happened at Lyonnesse. It was. So finally, after reading the poem, we can say this thing that yes, in this place Lyonnesse, something really happened. So whatever happened there, it was. So now we are having some of the options. After reading the options, we have to choose the most appropriate one. Okay. So whatever happened at Lyonnesse, it was first improbable, second impossible, third unforeseeable. So our answer is that whatever happened there, it was totally unforeseeable. No one was able to predict that thing. Okay, so no prophet, or we can say, wisest wizard were totally unable to predict the thing. So we can say that yes, whatever happened there, it was unforeseeable. Next question, pick out 2 lines from stanza 2 to justify your answer. So again, in this question, we have to read the second stanza of the poem, and after reading the stanza, we have to pick out the lines. We have to write the lines that justify our answer of the previous question. So in the previous question, we have answered that whatever happened at Lyonnesse, it was totally unforeseeable. So now we have to write 2 lines that justify our answer, that support our answer. So let's see. The relevant lines are, okay, so the lines from the second stanza that support our answer. So the lines are, no prophet does declare, nor did the wisest wizard guess what would be chance at Lyonnesse. So these are the lines from the second stanza that actually justify, that actually support our thing, that whatever happened at Lyonnesse, it was totally unforeseeable, because no prophet and even wisest wizard, they were also not able to predict the changes. Next question, read the line stanza 3 that implies the following. So in this question, we have to read the third stanza of the poem, and after reading the third stanza, we have to pick out the lines that actually meaning the same. So let's see the first of all, let's read the sentence. Everyone noticed something and they made guesses but didn't speak a word. So we have to pick out a line that actually means the similar. So let's see. The line that implies the thing is all marked with mute surmise. So all means all the people, marked means they also noticed, they also observed, but yes, they were mute, they were silent, and they were just having the guesses. So this is the line, all marked with mute surmise, and this line actually means that everyone noticed something and they made guesses but didn't speak a word. Next is, now read the line that refers to what they noticed. So in this question, again, we have to read the third stanza, and now we have to pick out the line that refers to what they noticed. Okay, so what everyone was observing, what was the thing that everyone was noticing. So that we have to write here, that line we have to write here. So let's see. The line that implies the thing is my radiance rare and fathomless. So what was the thing that everyone was observing? It was the radiance, it was the energy, it was the glow that the poet was having, and yes, it was very rare, very unusual, and at the same time it was fathomless, it was very deep. Okay, so yes, this glow was the thing, this radiance was the actual thing that everyone was noticing, that everyone was observing. Okay, so students, we have completed all the questions that we are having. It's a very easy, very simple and very interesting poem. I am very much sure that the explanation part, all the lecture devices that we have discussed, summary and the question answers, everything is clear to you all, and you all have enjoyed reading this poem. And in the next video, we will start reading with our new chapter. See you in the next video. Thank you.